First question from the audience. Last session, a bill was sponsored to repeal the Pay Equity Act. Where do you stand on the Pay Equity Act for Minnesota?
Pay Equity Act. Well, from the title, it sounds like it's a great idea. I guess I'm not as familiar with that particular bill. I wasn't in the legislature this last session. So, like I said, I'm not familiar with it. But pay equity is a very important thing for people in Minnesota. There's a great disparity between wages paid outside the metro area, inside the metro area. I'm sure this is probably not the topic of the Pay Equity Act at all. But we do need to make sure that people are being paid a fair wage for a fair day's work. And the free market is what generally does the best job of paying people and setting the wages that are relevant in the area. My father was a self-employed electrician for the last, for almost 40 years. And he was the one who taught me the value of hard work and working hard for every dollar you make and scraping as you go. And it's very important that we work together and that we not use class warfare as a divider between people. Whether you're blue collar, white collar, whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, we should all. So, we all need to be paid fair day's wage for the work that we do. It's just critically important that people aren't held back based on things that aren't job related. So if you're working the same job, doing the same work, and you've been doing it for the same amount of time, you should be paid the same wage as someone else doing the exact same work.
Do you believe that the majority has the right to vote on the civil rights of a minority?
Well, I believe we all have the right to vote on changes to our Constitution. At one time, a minority of people owned slaves, and we voted on the right. We voted to take that right away from slave owners. I think that was a good thing. And I will always trust the people of Minnesota and the voters of Minnesota to do what is right. Now, many times in the history of the state of Minnesota, amendments to the Constitution have come up. Some have failed, some have passed, some have been repealed. But in the long run, the voters of Minnesota will do what's best for Minnesotans. And I have complete faith in the voters of Minnesota to do what's right on both amendments that are before us this election season.
How would you ensure that citizens of your district have their civil rights protected?
Well, I think this is probably one question that we're all going to be in pretty much agreement on. There are a lot of resources out there already, and the biggest thing is finding the right office, the right person to talk to, and pointing people in the right direction. And as if I happen to be elected and I'm your state legislator, my door will always be open. My phone line, you can feel free to give me a call anytime, and I will try to get you in touch with the people who can directly address whatever issue you have. Right now, my wife is a township clerk, so we field a lot of calls. There are a lot of things rural townships don't have zoning on or other issues. And so then it's a matter of connecting them with the county or connecting them with the state office so that they can get their issue resolved. And, you know, as a military officer, you know, a lot of times you may not know the answer, but you have the responsibility to find the right answer and get it for that person who needs it. And, you know, as a legislator, that's exactly what I would do if I was elected. I would work with people when they have questions, when they have concerns, when they have issues, and we would get those addressed by the proper agency and proper authority.